a song, let me give you a song, let me sing you a song, let me sing you a song. From dusk and dawn to the early morn, till the battle is gone.
Hey folks, welcome back to Dusty Tracks BC. I'm joined here with Laura, and I'll let her introduce herself and what she does here.
Hi, I'm Laura Witkoff. I am a psych nurse and a nurse prescriber, which means I can prescribe OAT for people who are struggling with opioid use addiction. And so I am an outreach nurse here with the Ktunaxa Nation. And as you can see, I work in various areas.
Yeah. Thank you for taking a portion out of your day to at very last minute stop by. Yeah, very much appreciated.
That's how my role goes.
Yeah. Like I said, your time is very important, I think. Would you show us inside of your mobile station here?
Yeah, so this is my outreach van. We applied for some grants to support harm reduction in our community. So this is where all the funding came from, First Nations Health Authority mostly. And so I have all my supplies in here so I can reach people where they're at, literally, if they're in tents or if they're struggling at home. I have food, basic needs, food, water, clothing. I usually have tents if somebody needs tents. Big part of my role is helping people with substance use challenges, so I have harm reduction supplies in there, clean needles, disinfectant wipes, clean pipes, those kind of things as well, and take sharps as well. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really new, and we also have our other nurses, our public health nurses, come and they can do STI testing, blood draws, all that too, is wherever we bring the van. So it's very mobile. It's awesome.
Extremely mobile, fairly well equipped. When did you start with Street Angels?
Well, I started with the Nation about 3.5 years ago. I worked at the Mary Basil Detox when we were running that, and then my role kind of developed as we were seeing the needs in the community. It was about 3.5 years ago. I'm still developing relationships. It takes a lot of time to build the trust and to, have people want to access help that they've previously had bad experiences. So
right.
I'm kind of the link to help promote positive healthcare and take away that stigma and judgment for those people living rough. So this is one of my main stops is Street Angel. And this is kind of our hub in Cranrbook.
Right.
Also have food, everything that's in my van is in Street Angel. Plus they have warm meals and showers and laundry in there as well. So I do often drop people off here for support, pick people up. Can drive people up to our complex care shelter up on the hill there, which we are using to support a lot of our complex care clients who are unable to access any other supports in Cranrbook, like not allowed at the shelters, not allowed in any other programs in Cranrbook. So that's kind of what we're also working on up the hill. So very tightly connected.
Yeah.
And what's the value of having a van versus just having like physical centers? Why have the van as part of their care?
A lot of people feel unsafe going to any facilities due to a lot of previous judgments, racism, those kind of things. So a lot of people are feeling shamed, embarrassed. Now I can just go to where people are at, start creating that relationship. They may not receive healthcare right away, but once I build that trust, I might just go with them to an appointment and get them connected that way. So
So they're more willing to take help from a community member and someone they know.
Exactly.
They've seen. Right?
Yes.
Right.
And with my nurse prescribing, there's not very many people that are prescribing OAT out in BC. So for me to be able to do that out of my van is also a huge benefit. So people who are wanting to kind of decrease their toxic street drug use and use safer, we can connect them to Safe Supply. That is a prescribed medication that helps them reduce the toxic use. Yeah.
Very important role. Yeah. What is, for those of us that are uneducated, what is OAT?
So OAT is opioid agonist therapy. It includes medications such as methadone, which you've probably heard of. That's a liquid form that people take every day. It's a daily witness medication, so they have to be willing to go to a pharmacy to take it in front of them. That's a safety precaution in regards to, you know, people selling it on the streets and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then Suboxone is another one. That one is one that dissolves under your tongue, and that one is absorbed that way, and it's also a once a day thing, but it has a safety safety profile, so you can actually carry it and you don't have to witness it at the pharmacy. And then the other one is a newer one called Cadian, and it's slow release morphine. So
Wow.
people have more options out there right now.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's something you're able to go out into the community and help people with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever they're at, I can do an assessment there. But if they are, if I need to refer or escalate the care, I can totally help do that in any way. Transportation, get them there, anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, a much needed role.
Yeah. Very unique.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing your phone ring. Is that?
I know.
Is,
It's my alarm. It's okay.
oh, okay.
I
wasn't
don't
sure.
know what it's for.
I wasn't sure if you needed to take a phone call or anything. Because,
No.
yeah, like I said, it is it is
It's not very scheduled at all. It's more of a crisis needs role. So.
right. Yeah. So, wow, this Thank
Sorry
you.
about my phone.
No, not at all. Not
Yeah. I
at
don't know
all.
where
It's
it is.
just if we needed to break away, if you needed to break away at any point, feel free to.
Awesome.
Audience question.
Yeah. Can you walk us through? Can we go into the van and look at a little bit of what's in there and like why you have a bed, things like that?
Absolutely, yes. So.
Is that all right
come
with two people coming in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I need a step. There's a few things we're still waiting for.
Yeah, you get in there.
However, if somebody needs like basic wound care, dressing clean or dressing changes, anything really, I can provide that care. And if we do any blood draws right here, the supplies are very important. Snacks, anything that are to go, easy access, a lot of harm reduction supplies for people who are using substances. I can train people on naloxone, sharps containers. These are all the supplies we give for people who are using different substances in different ways. Down here, other things that sometimes we don't think about: feminine hygiene products, sunscreen, just a basic first aid kit. A lot of the people that I see are living in tents, so it's nice to have these hard to access supplies. And then same thing over here. I do seem to give away a lot of wound care supplies for people to just kind of do their own care, because they're not willing to go to any other facilities for their care.
Right.
And then I usually have tents and blankets as well. Like I said, a lot of people have a hard time accessing some of our resources due to some rules and not able to follow them for one reason or another. So it's nice to have a tent accessible for people. Yeah.
Amazing.
And are these supplies supplied by Street Angels?
Some are, like, I do get a lot of the snacks and stuff from Street Angels or whatever program. A lot of our funding is kind of streamed together depending on what, I don't know too much about that piece. But I do get most of the food from Street Angels, the tents and the blankets from Street Angels, and then others are donated or through the harm reduction grants that I get.
Okay. Yeah. So I think head inside, or
I have a couple more questions.
oh yeah,
Let's hear it.
questions. Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm like, this is not an easy job.
No, I'm feeling pretty exhausted actually. We've had quite a few deaths recently, overdose deaths in Cranrbook. All have been Indigenous that I've been working with, so it's pretty heavy. Yeah. So it's nice to have as you can see, my colleagues have been super supportive, and we all get along really well. So that's a big piece of our role too, just to keep that balance.
What keeps you doing it?
Well, I get letters from people in treatment. I get people just thanking me after. It's just, it fills the cup. It does. It's hard, but there are pieces that do feel rewarding. And working with Indigenous people is very challenging, but to be able to create those relationships and create that trust, it's just so rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, that's amazing. And this is a small town. A lot of people would think that this isn't necessarily a resource that needs it, but is this something that Cranrbook needs right now? Tell me about that.
Yeah, actually I have interior health teams, outreach teams wanting to partner up with me, so they've been coming with me outreaching. So I partner with Anchors, interior health, mental health outreach, Shelby from EOPS. Like there's a bunch of different teams. We all collaborate. They want a van like this. So there's a few different agencies that are looking into getting a van like this. So we're kind of setting the way.
That's so cool. And where do you hope this goes? Like, do you hope it spreads across BC?
Yeah, well, right now I'm only one person. I am also doing the prescribing and a few other mental health and psychiatry access roles. So I would like to have more nurses be able to utilize this van. That's my hope, and do the same role that I'm doing.
So as of now, you're the only one who can drive this and help people.
Well, we do have our public health nurses, but they are based out of the clinic. So I am primarily the one that goes out right now.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. So 7 days a week, this caretaking is you.
5
days a week.
Yes.
That's good. 7 would be a lot.
Yeah, well, sometimes it depends on like the needs. If there's a crisis in the communities, we might get asked to be on call for the weekend just to support the families or whatever else is needed. I mean, we've already got that relationship, so it's nice to have that connection and support be right there too.
And how often does that happen?
Quite a lot. I was on call last weekend, I think, but it's not like a mandatory thing. We go through the team and see who is best fit for that weekend or whatever, and can do it. You know, like if they feel comfortable to do it, then they can do it. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking time to share with us.
Thanks for being interested.
Oh,
Absolutely.
This is my baby.
It's an amazing baby. Most babies just cry, and yours is helping the whole community.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want people to know about your baby that we haven't touched on yet?
No, you say hi, wave, come see me if you ever see me. I'm willing to share all sorts of knowledge about mental health and addiction, so come see me. I'm around in the van. I'm based out of the KNC Health Clinic too. That's where my office is located. So yeah, feel free to say hi.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Laura.
We're going to go talk to your coworkers now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
We are inside the Street Angels building here, and I'm sitting with 3 lovely individuals here. I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with my right.
Kisa Kukit, Husukukukani, Debbie Whitehead, Social Investment Director for the Tanaka Nation.
My name is Marianne Jimmy. I work for Street Angels, and I am support worker. You should know this by now.
And I'm Tammy Pocho, on-site supervisor at Street Angel.
Thank you for having us here. First of all, yeah, very very welcoming and very important. Debbie? Would you like to start this out?
Absolutely. So I'll just take a few minutes and talk about Street Angel. So Street Angel has been open for about 12 years. We rely on a bit of Tanaka Nation Council funding, IHA, Interior Health funding, and most of our funding comes from fundraising. One of the areas, and I'm sure Tammy will talk about this a little later, is the Orange Door project with Home Depot. We've been very successful over the years and very appreciative of the dollars that come in from Home Depot. As you can see, we have a very nice, we have a beautiful place here. The Street Angel are around our Tanaka Nation vision statement, and I would just like to read the statement to you. Strong, healthy citizens and communities, speaking our language and celebrating who we are, our history, and in our ancestral homelands, working together, managing our lands and resources within a self-sufficient, self-governing nation. And that's been our vision statement for as long as I can remember. However, one of the things that we found that we needed to do over the years is we needed to create what we call our framework. And this is our framework here. And so what we've done over the years is we've created a framework that supports client services. And so 90% of the people that we service are Indigenous, and a lot of them are our own Tanaka individuals who come into Street Angel. And so because KNC is such a good place to work, we've had client or staff that have been employed for, a plus 15, 20, 25 years. And as we get older and we start to look at retirement, we needed to make sure that we were able to continue with a culturally safe practice. And so what we've done internally is we created an elders working group made up of our community governments, and we brought them together to help us develop the tools that were needed and the indicators on culturally safe practice. So as you can see here, I have a demonstration here of discovery, mastering, celebrating, dreaming, and discovery. And so we try as hard as we can to follow the indicators that's been provided to us by our elders. I'll take a few minutes just to talk about Street Angel, and then I'm going to hand it over to Lorraine, my niece, and to Tammy. Operation Street Angel supports and brings awareness to poverty, issues that are within the area. The program is designed to assist marginalized people by providing continued support around outreach, community inclusion, and as well guidance and awareness of the services that are available to them with respect to Street Angel and other service providers in the area. Street Angel is again operated by the Tanaka Nation and funded by Interior Health, but also again I'll just reiterate that we rely on donations, and again Home Depot is one of our huge sponsors. At Street Angel, community members have access to nurse practitioner services, mental health, substance abuse counseling, Street Angel advocacy, justice advocacy, and linkages and referrals to other services that are provided in this community and in the region. What I'd like to do is maybe turn it over to the staff to talk about the services that are provided in-house, if that's okay, Mike?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
But
here
the
to
other thing
listen.
is, Debbie, you were going to tell, why did Street Angels start?
Okay. So 12 years ago, we had lost, and again, we only provide services to adults. However, we are next to the Recplex, then the skate park. So there's many times in the summer and winter that we will have youth come in who maybe are in crisis and danger, need a drink of water, don't have a place to go. And so what we do is we do refer that to, Child and Family and other service providers that provide services to youth. We'd really like to have the youth be able to share this service as well, but then there's so many policies and stuff that would need to be changed, because we really don't have any mandated services that we need to provide here, or any services that are reportable. So what had happened, 12 years ago, we had lost a child in care to a drowning in the creek not far from here. And at that time, there was a lot of people being beat up, and it was happening to a lot of our own folks. And so, and at that time, it wasn't around the toxic drug crisis. It was around the alcohol issues. And so, a couple of our elders had said, what is KNC going to do to protect our most vulnerable? And so at that time, we put a proposal together for Street Angel. We sent it out to a lot of our provincial and federal partners, and we were able to, start out slowly with a really small space, and then we were very lucky to be able to rent this space off of the city of Cranrbook. And so that's how Street Angel started. But I wanted to say that we've been here 12 years plus, and not once have we ever had to have a meeting with City Council around any incidents, any crises, any miscommunication or disagreements. And so I think that's a huge win for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so any other questions, Mike, before we turn it over?
No, like I said, I'm here to listen.
Okay.
And yeah.
So Tammy, do you, and maybe Lorraine, don't want to put you on the spot, but if you don't mind just personally talking about your experience as a client, and now that you've been working, how many years here now?
6 years.
6 years. Wow. So maybe do you want to? Are you okay to talk about that? Okay.
She loves talking
As
about
much
it.
as you want.
Okay, like I said, my name is Lorianne, Lorianne Jimmy. My band is Kiskanook, that's Windermere, in Windermere. My mom is from there. My dad is from Seabird Island, the coast or Chilliwack area, and that. I've been I started as a client. Tammy seen me from my worst, from my alcohol. My dad's the one that introduced me to Street Angels. He told me to go and find Tammy Pocha right away. So I went in, one of the clients, and pointed her out who she was. So I told her who I was, told her why I needed her help in that. I was just coming home. I was away from home for about 12 years, and I was living in Mission, and I was an alcoholic since I was 18, but I got introduced to the drugs down there. So the drug was my world at the time, and I had enough one day, and because I got into a car accident on Christmas Eve. I shouldn't be here, and I came home January 3rd, and I've been home since. I met Tammy, told her my story. She asked what she can do for me. So I was telling her, and so I volunteered a lot. I probably volunteered a lot for that whole year because I wanted the dope so bad, but at the time I couldn't find it here because they were against of the drug that I used to do and that. And so I volunteered a lot. When they got very busy at the old streets, phone calls would be ringing, the phone would be ringing, so I would go sneak in their office, answer it, and then I'd tell them just wait and I'll go get Tammy. So I would do what I know that needs to be done, so I would do that, and then Tammy did see me with my worst of my drinking. I still had a problem with my drinking. I was very violent. I got kicked out 2-3 times. The rules, like I was telling you guys with the pack sacks, it was because of me. Before Tammy allowed them to have their pack sacks because that was their belonging. She didn't have a problem. But when I came along, it was starting to become a problem because I would go in the ladies' bathroom, go and get my drink, have some shots, have bigger shots, have a little dance party in the bathroom, go out, and finally a client told Tammy or told somebody what was in my bag, and one of them approached me, and I said yes. They told me I had to be in the office. I got into a fight with one of the clients, so I got kicked out for a week, 2 weeks, and then I got kicked out, I would think probably a week. I was in, and then I got kicked out again because I was drunk, very drunk, and I got kicked out, and they said one more time. They had to sit down with me, and it wasn't looking good. So I said, okay. I stayed away from I didn't bring the drinking anymore to the streets. And then when they moved over here, I did still a lot of volunteering in that. And one day Tammy phoned me and asked if I wanted to work. And I said, yeah, when do you want me? She goes, be here in 5 minutes. And at that time, I just lived on top of the stairs here. So at the time I was married, he brought me down. And that, because at the time I didn't like walking on the stairs because I didn't know what I was going to find. So he rocked me here, and I've been working here since. I've been clean off of my jug of toys 8 years. 8 years. It was a big help with my dad and a big help with Tammy, because there's times that I wouldn't know, because when I walk around in circles a lot, it means that my brain and I are working on how I can leave Cranrbook and how I can get back to Mission to go and do my drugs. So a few times Tammy seen me doing it, and she would whisper it in my ear, I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then off I go, and I'll go and do it. And then hour later, whatever, I'm like, oh, was I pacing? She goes, yes, you were pacing. Client came and told me, and it's like, oh, I didn't even notice. But I was, yeah, so, and she still helps me. When my dad passed away, I told her she's like my dad. And because she says the same words that my dad would tell me, and so, and my auntie was my big help too, and my Uncle Jim would kick me when I needed it, and so, yeah, and I love working here. It's been getting hard lately, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people are passing, and I'm taking, Tammy's trying to teach me to leave my work at home, work, but I bring it at home, and I think of them all the time. So now I'm trying to, on Wednesday was the first time in a long time that I left work at home, and I just stayed at home and did what I had to do. And now when I go today, I got to remember to leave my junk here and just be me when I off the grass here. And so yeah, I have my days. I've been seeing a counselor for about a year. Same again, Tammy said, help me. I told her, because she asked me what was wrong, I told her the truth, that I wanted to go and use. I knew where there was the drugs at the house, at somebody's house. And I told her, I have money, this is how much I have, I'm going to go and tell her, give me what she can give me. I was just done. And she asked what she can do. I said, anything. And less than 5-10 minutes, she got me a counselor. The counselor came the next day, and I've been seeing this counselor for a year, and that's the longest I ever seen a counselor. Mm-hmm. I can talk with you maybe 3-4 sessions, then I can bullshit. I can beep on you guys and say I'm doing good. But with this counselor, it's just, he came like a good best friend, and he listens. I really like going back and talking with him and So, and then I got the clients. Like, clients will know when something's wrong, and I'll talk with them. And I got to know them very well, so I started calling people, I called Uncle Dave. I have an Uncle Barry. I have some aunties. I have some nieces and cousins in because they played a part of something in my heart. So then I just called them and so I call them uncle and aunties, and when I don't say uncle, they'll correct me and say, who am I? And then I'll say, oh, your uncle. And so yeah, I love working here. Like I said, I got my days, but I keep coming back because, like Tammy said, the addicts needs me. And some addicts don't believe that I didn't do drugs. And then Tammy will say, tell them a story of Mission. I'm like, okay, and then I'll tell them stories. They're like, wow, you did do the drugs. I said, yeah, I used to do everything. I used to pop pills and so it took my dad 12 years to get me home. And then when he did got me home, in that year I asked him to stay again, because in my brain I was going to die. That was my brain. And he stayed for a year, and then he went back to Mission area, Chilliwack area, and then he got very sick, and then we lost him 7 years now, I think it was, and so, but he made it on the wall. So when I get down, like I need him, then I come and talk with him and then off I go. So yeah, that's my story. Is that what you wanted?
That was great.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome.
Guys, we just want people to realize that we're like here, around here, we got a lot of, everybody's like a family to us, right? So even our staff, if we didn't have our staff to be aboard with us, we wouldn't have this place to keep going. So we have people that are homeless, we have people that addictions, we have people, all sorts that come through that door just for it to be safe. And that's our goal, is just keep everybody safe. They're fed, they have showers, they have laundry, we have everything. So I love my job, and yeah, it pulls hearts. Like this one was a tough one. We've got a couple other ones that are pretty tough,
yeah.
but you know what? And we even go help people. Like I get elders that phone us, can we get somebody to go move somebody? We end up going move these people, and yeah, so it's a win-win. The clients get a little bit of cash to help them to get some more food. We do it all.
And we've seen clients go to treatment. We just had a client went to treatment and he's doing good and he's still on the red road. We have some clients that moved away and they're doing very well and that. So those are the kind of stories I like to hear and that, because I always tell them if I can do it, anyone can do it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories that we can tell about people, and they'll tell you a lot of stories around here if you want to sit and listen one day and see what's going on with their families or what they're in the community is happening. Like I said, and even Debbie said, like Home Depot helps us big time, and that's our biggest support. I shouldn't even just say them; it's everybody in the community that we get donations every day. We get food, clothes. We get clothes once a week. We're to the end, and all of a sudden we're overwhelmed. We got clothes again, so it's a nonstop. We don't charge. You can come and help yourself. You take what you need. We got a fridge that people can get food from to take home to cook. We actually, last month, we got 3 people in housing, and we helped them get furniture. We helped move them there. It's amazing. So,
I think just a couple of things to add. As Lorraine was speaking, she pointed to the wall. Mm-hmm. So this is the wall that we've created. A life that touches others goes on forever. So we started building this wall when we opened up Street Angel 12 plus years ago. So these people on this wall, most of them are clients, but some of them are either workers or friends of people who came in. And in many cases, as we know, with funerals, when it comes to people who are living in poverty, people don't have the money to provide a meal after a funeral. It's just the basics, right, that the Ministry of Social Development covers. And so in many situations, families are left with nothing. So what we've done over the years is we've actually had funerals, memorial services in the building, and we also provide to many families, and we haven't done it for a while, we provide a luncheon after maybe a funeral has happened. And we do have one of our people who passed last week to an OD, and their funeral is tomorrow, but they didn't have a place to hold a dinner, and they didn't have the dollars to be able to do that. So we will be providing the dinner to those who want to attend, the dinner. So we have that going on tomorrow. So again, we try to, it's just not a statistic when somebody dies. Well, it is a statistic, but we continue to try to honor them on our honor wall here. One of the other things, when we first started out with Street Angel, we had no idea what we were in for. And boy, did we learn fast. So I just wanted to share a case with you. When we were over on 2nd Street North, there was this woman. She was, and I don't see her anymore, and I don't think she comes in, but she was a non-native lady, and she used to come into streets on a regular basis. She never really talked. She didn't trust, but she had really good skills. She had really good stalking skills. She was a hoarder. She hoarded a lot of things, and for some people, they could share their story right away. But with her, she just was really standoffish. But what had happened one evening when we were open, we had somebody go into cardiac arrest. And we did call 911. However, she jumped out of her chair. She got down on her knees, said, call 911. At that time, we didn't have a defibrillator, but we had a first aid kit. Yeah. And so we brought that out. And as she's working on this person, because she's doing this, right? She looks up at that time was Ed, and said, we need a defibrillator in this building. So she really knew her medical stuff. And what we found out later was that she was actually a nurse, a registered nurse in the interior. I don't know if it was Kelowna or if it was Kamloops, but what happened is she had lost her husband in a car accident. So she was off, she went back to work. And again, she lost another family member, and I don't know if it was a daughter or if it was a sister. And when that happened, she just totally packed up one day and went into some kind of mental health crisis. However, that situation in our building was the start of her dealing with her issues. And then we had another incident, probably 6 months later, where again, by that time we had a defibrillator. So again, she was in the building, she did what she needed to do. Both of these people are still alive today, but we don't see her anymore. Right, and if we do see her, it's not because she's here getting services. She has her own place. She's doing well for herself. So again, we don't know stories, right? We're so quick to say, oh, they're a drug addict or they're a drunk or whatever the situation might be. But everybody has a story. And so I wanted to share that with you because that was a learning for us as staff, because we had no idea that we have people that are homeless because of tragic situations, right? And I think the other thing that's really important too is that, as we know, people who on old age pension don't get a lot of money. They're either on old age pension or they might get a minicum, but it's very little. And so we do see an increase in people towards the end of the month. And it's the elders that are coming in, they're looking for friendship. They're looking for, something to eat or food to take home, because their whole pension check is going to rent and hydro. And so again, with our services here, we do provide services to homeless, Indigenous, non-Native people, Indigenous people, Métis people. And one thing that's really, we're really pleased about is that we continue to have a friendship with just elderly people in Cranrbook. And so I think that's another important thing to talk about.
Everyone has a story and you may not know it. And supplying a safe area to come down and socialize, and you don't necessarily have to share your story, but having that safe environment and welcoming, it's very important.
And so Street Angel is only one facet of the services that we provide to Indigenous and other clients within the Cranrbook area. Is we also have complex or Scotty's House. We had Scotty's House for probably 8-9 years, and we used to provide. It was a tenant relationship with those that are most vulnerable, so we had 24-hour supervision up there. However, the funding fell through and we weren't able to continue with that. But we did open up a detox and a recovery program, and we ran that for 3 years. And again, the dollars that we were receiving wasn't substantial enough to continue with the program. And so now we use Scotty's as second stage housing for, as Lorraine talked about, those going off to treatment or psychiatry or mental health facilities and being able to come back. And those who are doing progressively better, we will house them at Scotty's if we need to. And then our most newest program is a program with the Ministry of Health and in partnership with BC Housing, and the KNC to provide complex care. So in January, we opened up the complex care housing up in the industrial. And so it's a place where those, basically, it's to keep people alive. So those are the clients that come in that are either on some kind of drug as they come into the center, dealing with alcohol, or whatever the situation might be. So we open up at 7 p.m. at night, and then you're out by 10 o'clock in the morning. And so we have up to 12 beds, and for the most part, we're full. We have 2 people on staff. One is a worker and the other one's a security. And then we have our clinicians, and as we talked, as you talked earlier with Laura, outside at the van, she's our nurse prescriber. She's also a psych nurse. And so we have a number of positions through our regional health center at the Tanaka Nation. Nurse practitioners, public health, psych nurse, clinical counselors, Aboriginal liaisons who support many individuals within the area. And we also, we do go outreach to the communities as well. So that's kind of a quick overview of the other programs that we're running under the social sector with the Tanaka Nation.
And we do get skateboard at the skate park. We do get younger kids coming in. We were having issues of the boys going to the bathroom in the back, and so I told them that we have a bathroom. You guys are more than welcome to use the bathroom. We prefer you guys to use the bathroom. So we got the younger ones coming in. We used to have this younger fellow to come in. I think he started off from Steeples or Lori School, but he got to know our other worker, Ed. He would always come in and chit chat. He wouldn't chit chat with me because he didn't, but if for whatever reason he preferred Ed. So if Ed wasn't here, he wouldn't take no snacks and that, and so he would go. And then when I see him, and then so he got to know me, and that he's like, okay, I'll take a snack, and that. But he would always say, I prefer Ed though. I said, I understand you prefer Ed, but now he's in Mount Baker and he'll come still. Is Ed in? Oh no, you just missed him. All right. So we have people that come in and that, and I think it's awesome to see them, watching them growing into an adult and that. And we have another person that used to come and give us paper for free, and that because he knew that the homeless that wanted to read but they couldn't afford the paper, so he would take a paper and bring it here. But I haven't seen him recently and that, so, but I think it's awesome that the younger generations, white, whatever color they are, that they feel comfortable to use this place. We do have a lot of girls that come and they would ask for their monthly stuff, but they would be scared. So now we have it in the bathroom and that, so if anyone needs it, the girls needs it, they know where instead of to ask and that. So yeah, so we help everyone and everyone. People will walk by and ask, what's this place about? And then we'll tell them. We do have, I call them the old parts. They come every Thursday. They come and have coffee. You got to remind them because they forget to sign in.
Oh yeah.
Once you come in, you got to sign in once a day. It's just to keep a stat and that, and yeah. So they come in, they go chit chat outside if it's a nice day, or they'll go out in the back here. They call me the mean one because when they first started coming around, I was yelling a lot in that because clients would yell at me, so I'll yell back. But I got taught, teaching myself and that not to yell at them and that. So now the elders call me the mean one, but they know I'm not mean. So when they're around, I try and lower my voice with them, so it doesn't irritate their hearing aids. So.
So do we, Tammy or Lorraine, do we? I'm just not sure of this, but what we have a youth come in that's hungry, we feed them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. Because we always have snacks, drinks, we
Yeah.
have it all.
So I guess when I said earlier that we don't provide services to youth, we do provide
Yes.
services, but I guess what I should say is that we don't allow them to mingle with our adults.
Some of them do, Deb.
Some of them do?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we do have a couple that will come and talk to some of the
Okay,
elders.
good.
And they'll chit chat, so
Yeah.
that we keep an eye, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know the circumstances.
That's awesome.
So, and there, we'll have parents that'll phone down and has such and such been there, so we will let them know.
Good, good.
Very multifaceted on a lot of different fronts. A lot of partners, it seems. How would one go about donating or supporting and helping Street Angels?
Anything, everything helps,
Yeah.
right? So even if you bring clothes in, food in, basically, yeah, just anything that comes through the door, we accept.
Yes, on Wednesday we had a client. He gave me $5 for somebody to get cigarettes. We donate cigarettes.
Ed.
We donate cigarettes and that for clients.
You're welcome.
Before we weren't doing it, but they would go and pick up people's butts. And Tammy didn't like it because of the house. You don't know, right?
Right.
And so Tammy went, and so now we say we donate because we can't say what we buy it. So they donate $1. So a guy donated $5 for anyone that needed cigarettes real bad. So we have clients, they'll donate $1, they'll donate $2, even though that's not much, but they try and help as best as they can in that. So, yeah.
And I think one of the things that when you mentioned, how can people support Street Angel? So a lot of our meals are cooked with wild meat, and so we have a license.
Not this last while.
Not this last fall, but for a number of years,
Yes.
we use nothing but wild meat when we cook. And so we have a license with Interior Health to, as long as it's coming from a butcher shop, we're able, as long as it's wrapped, we're able to use wild meat. But again, just like what Tammy just said, is that it's been difficult to be able to get the wild meat. So, the grocery bill is a lot higher when we have to go out and buy chicken and beef and stuff like that to feed people. So, that is something that is important to us, is any kind of donations around food would be really nice. Yeah.
We also, I don't know if you guys are aware that they have to pay for their meals.
Yes.
If they don't have money, they have to do a chore. It's just to give back, and you know what? The guys love it. So if they come in and, sorry, Lorianne, I don't have money for something, so she'll get them either washing windows, doing something outside. It's not a hard job, but they want to give back. So that's how we did.
What is the daily rate for a meal? $2?
$5 now.
$5 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, $5 because it's costly. So you can buy a meal card that's $50.
Yeah.
A meal card just.
And then
for the whole month.
we just clip it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just everything's for free, which I think is a lot different than what's happening with a lot of other on-site sites like ours. Like within the Nation Council, we do we do provide services under a harm reduction model, like at Scotty's and at Complex Care. We do follow the model that you can use, you can do what you need to do to stay alive. But here at Street Angel, there is no alcohol, no drugs, no smoking meth or anything like that on site. And if you do, then you're going to be evicted for maybe 3 days, 4 days, a week, all depending on the situation.
Right.
And I think it's important too. Tammy talked about people have to pay to have a meal, or they need to do a chore, and I think that's important. Because this person now feels like they're worth something. I don't know, Tammy, if you wanted to just expand on that a little bit.
Because it makes it worthwhile, right? Because even some of the guys will say, I can't get a meal downtown for this price. So it actually works out pretty good. But if they don't have anything, we'll get them to do something. They don't go away hungry. Yeah, you can't buy food for that price.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to come in and say a few words?
Nope.
No? Okay. That was
Off
just
cam.
one of our clients that's sitting here watching us as we sit here all nervous. And there's days too, like Christmas and holidays. Like we provide turkey dinner and we won't do it on a day that say the Dairy Queen or the Salvation Army or somebody else is doing it. And then there's days when we just have a big feast without anybody having to pay for anything. Like Aboriginal Day, Indigenous Day, whatever, that we've always put things on, and it's just a treat for everybody. We take people fishing sometimes. We probably haven't done that.
Yeah, we haven't did that for a
We haven't
long
done
time.
that since the pandemic. So before the pandemic, we used to take, when we had the staff and our budget was a little bit stronger, we would take people out to the lakes, we would take them fishing, take them out to the lake for a barbecue, have a campfire. Because a lot of people don't get to experience that. But we haven't been very successful in doing that since the pandemic, just because of budget cuts, not being able to find the staff that we need to come to work because they're not vaccinated. So there's a number of deterrents on why there's things that we're not doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that would be a very welcome activity.
Yes. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yes.
Audience question.
How do you structure it so that people have food every day, but you don't have to provide meals 7 days a week? How does that work with the different communities that are around?
I'll leave that to Tammy.
Say that again.
I phrased it badly. Are there other places that provide meals on the days that you don't provide
Yes,
meals?
because we serve Monday, Tuesdays, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. But starting in July, we'll be closed on Saturday. But there's out in the community, there's the churches. Anchors does meals. There's all different organizations. They don't go hungry around this area. And if they like, say somebody can't make it to one of the community members, we end up giving them a goodie bag, like a grab bag that they have, like sandwiches, fruit, all that kind of stuff in the bags.
And so do you coordinate with those other organizations to make sure?
No, they'll phone us. Like if say Community Connections will be putting on a big dinner, they'll phone us ahead and say, okay, you might not get anybody there for the day, but it's like I said, someone will go from here and go over there to eat, because a lot of people are scared that they're not going to get fed.
And as you heard Tammy say too, something about closing on Saturday. So in the winter time, we try to be open 7 days a week, just because of the elements, right? However, we're changing things up a little bit because these guys work 7 days a week, including weekends. So it's nice out now. People are in tents, that kind of thing. So we're going to switch up the schedule a bit, close on the weekends so that the staff can have some weekends off and be able to spend time with their families. Because we're not worried about people freezing, those kind of things. Because, if you need a place and you don't have a place to go, there's always a tent and a sleeping bag.
Now, right now, as you see, it's sunny outside, and everybody's outside enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah.
It is beautiful outside.
Yeah.
It's
And
great
we
weather.
do help people once in a when they do have jobs and they don't have no money in between paydays. We will help them if we have everything. And then if we don't have the sandwich, then we'll make the sandwich and that and whatever we have in that, and then we'll give it to them and that. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Very good point, Lorraine.
Go ahead.
I'm curious how it's touched. You've talked about this a little bit, but it's a really intense job for all of you. What keeps you in it personally? How's it affected you in your own life? It's a big question, I know.
I think for me, how it's affected me is the whole reason why we started Street Angel is because we were losing people. And some of our people were starting to die. I did give the scenario of the young boy. However, with me, it was about the beatings that were going on and the fights, the domestic violence and everything that was going on because of the drinking. And so for me, it was important to be able to provide services to those who don't necessarily live on any of our reserves, but are living in town and couch surfing. So for me, it's always about, just people feeling good about themselves, right? And so honestly, you know, in the last year, there's not a lot that just come from our own communities because they're really stable and doing good things. What's really important to me is when we do have people that come into Cranbrook and are stuck, we can introduce them back to their families through Facebook, right? Because a lot of these guys don't have Facebook access, but they come in and they say, oh, you have a computer. Well, I haven't talked to my family for like 10 years. Okay, well, let's do some research here, figure out where you're from, and let's reach out to your band or your community or your nation and see if there's anybody alive, and if there is, let's try to make some contact. And we've actually, when we had bus services, Greyhound, we were very busy putting people on buses and sending them home as far as Ontario.
And we also have a long distance phone, so if somebody comes in and wants to make a phone call to family wherever, they're more than welcome to use the phone. So that saves a lot of people that can't afford a phone, right? So the long distance is a big thing.
Tammy?
What?
Well, I know with Tammy, and I'll just maybe start this off for her, is that, you know, Tammy is born, raised in Cranbrook, and you know, she's seen a lot of people come in and cross the path of personally knowing just as many people as that we know.
Yeah, it was big. I used to manage A&W, and I just wanted to change, so I decided to fly a straight angel, and I've been here since. So, and I love doing it. I like seeing the challenges. I like seeing the success that we have around here. Like I said, 3 people last month in a place all set up, ready to go, and one hasn't been in a place for 6 years. So we got to sleep on a bed on Wednesday for the first time in 6 years.
And he slept in.
Yeah, because we got pillow donation, and guess what? We got all these fresh new pillows. And yeah, it's been amazing this last couple months, besides losing some of our clients. But you know what? We gotta look forward, and we gotta look to see what's happening out in the community and the success that's happening. Yeah, we have our downs and we have our ups. So.
We have a good relationship with homeless outreach, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
The part I like, if you came in and you had no clothes, and I tell you there's a free store back there, the light on their faces, and that, because that's how I was in Mission. There was always free clothes. I didn't need clothes back then. I love clothes. So to me, I need clothes every day. I'm still like that, but when I see people, there's this one girl a couple weeks ago. It was just her in the building, and she was in her glories because we just put out a whole bunch of girl clothes. And I thought it was going to be this other girl going to take it all. But she took out all the good ones in that, and she was like all happy. She's like, what about this and what about this? I'm like, yes, they'll look good on you. And, you know, she'll come in. Look, I'm wearing it. I'm like, right on. She goes, I tell everyone where I get my clothes from. I'm like, right on. That's good. I said, thank you for telling people and that. So it's just not for the homeless. It's for anybody. So let's say you had a job interview and you had no clothes. And then you would come here and check it out. And sometimes I might have interview clothes in the back. And that, because we'll keep some clothes in the back, so for people that emergency, if we don't have clothes, and if you came in and for whatever reason you have no clothes, then we'll ask you for your size, and we'll go in the back. I'll get Tammy to help me, because I just don't know sometimes. My brain goes blank, and then she'll tell me what we're doing. I'm like, oh yeah. So I'll go and get it in that, so yeah. That's it.
That must be extremely rewarding at the end of the day.
It is, because like Tammy said, I've been there and I've done that. So to see people come in, and it's like, wow. So now, like my dad would say, I'm bullheaded, and it took me a long time, because my dad was trying to teach me before he passed away. He was trying to teach me all these things, but I wasn't listening. And now that I see it for my own eyes, being clean and sober and on that road, I would tell him, that's what my dad was taught. She goes, yes. And I'm like, it took me that many years to realize on what my dad was saying. And same with my Uncle Jim. I got to know my dad a little bit more through Uncle Jim. And it's like, wow, I didn't know. Because my dad never judged me.
Mm-hmm.
He never judged me on what I done. As in for my mom, she did judge me. And I just couldn't understand. And then one day Uncle Jim was in the kitchen and he told me a lot of stuff that I didn't know about my dad. He goes, now you know why your dad never judged you? I said, oh. So I would come up, that's why you never judged me. And so yeah, so it was, I got to know my Uncle Jim and I got to know my dad at the same time. And so those parts I treasure, and that's like, because now I understand what my dad, yeah, so I got to know my dad a little bit more.
So, if you would, just run me through a typical day for you.
A what day?
A typical day, like what you do day to day.
Difficult day for me is when more than one addict comes into the building. If there's like 6, 8 addicts coming at once, my brain, myself, and my spirit goes out. It goes like that. And that's when Tammy will step in and she'll say, okay, go in the back for a little bit, breathe, and then I'll do whatever she tells me to do in the back, and then I'll come back, and because it's just too much, especially if they're high. It's like, it triggers me, but I'm getting there where I can just walk away because I tell myself that's not you. You're not there no more. And then I would say the date, the year, and the time. And that just to ground myself and get myself back. And so those are the difficult times. Like when people come in drinking and that, I can handle it. But when they come in some of them will come a couple of days later after and apologize. Orianne, I'm sorry. I came here, blah, blah, blah. I just want to say sorry because you're trying to stay clean. I come up all messed up. And then they would ask me, how did that feel when I came? And most of them, that they're on the wall. And and then this new drugs coming, yeah. So
I think what she thought you said was your
difficult
difficult day.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you say?
Typical.
A typical day for
So
you.
what is that?
Tammy, take us through a typical day.
My typical day is come in the door, I've got to get coffee on because guys are standing outside waiting. So I start letting them in about 8:15. So you just say what your day is, like what's happened.
Oh, I thought you said difficult. I'm sorry.
It's still good though
It is.
because
It is. I have a follow-up question for.
Yeah.
Continue.
My face.
It's basically to get in, get stuff ready, turned on. You're starting. So Tuesday and Thursdays we serve breakfast here. So they have breakfast at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock also. So we basically get everything ready, turn everything on, have the coffee ready, and then the clients start coming in. And we start talking and yapping, and you'll hear laughter, you'll hear some crying. Sometimes you'll hear some swearing around here too once in a while. But you know what? They're happy. This is a safe place for them.
so
That's our
cooking.
typical day.
Do you guys do the cleaning too, Tammy?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
cooking,
yes.
the cleaning. Like I said, nighttime they do the cleaning. Morning time we come in, turn everything on, get supper prepared. If we have stuff for lunches, we'll get lunch prepared, and that's always feeding. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a busy day.
Yeah.
And so then I'm sure maybe the chores would also come into play then as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like again, some will say like they'll give us a heads up that they don't have money for supper.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's get the windows done. Let's go get the weeding done in the garden. Let's get the floors swept.
Yeah, somebody was out weeding the garden a little while ago.
Yeah. So there's everybody that helps.
Do you have a garden out back
Wait, on the side.
on the side? Yeah.
We're kind of a little bit behind schedule. We got some potatoes and that planted, and some what did he say? Peanuts. He's trying to peanut. Yeah, he's trying peanuts.
This is the clients that are doing the garden.
So we're trying these stuff this year because the weeds start to get very overwhelming out there.
But we gotta watch the clients on what they put in.
Yeah, we-
One client, I didn't know he stuck his weed back there. He was growing his weed. I said, what are you doing? That's Tammy's plants. You can't touch that. He goes, no. Tammy said, yes, I can plant it. I'm like, what are you planting? I'm like, you got to get that out. No. I think Tammy didn't understand what you meant. But he was so proud that it was growing. So, yeah. So now we got to watch on. They got to show us on what they're planting.
Yeah. So I told you, it's entertaining around here.
Oh, yes.
I think the other important thing too is that with the clients that come here, they police each other.
Oh, yes.
So maybe, Tammy, you want to talk about that a bit?
So we do get a lot that if there's problems outside, they'll come inside and they'll, oh, something's happening outside, can you go check it? Or somebody's got alcohol out there. Somebody's always coming to let us know because they want it stocked, right? They don't want to be out there.
We don't want to close down.
They want to keep it going. So yeah, they'll come and tell us, or okay, can we get somebody off the stairs? We have boundaries around here that we're not allowed to go drinking on the stairways, at the skate park, anywhere. So they always look out for each other. And if somebody's arguing with somebody, yeah, it's all the time.
You had a follow-up question for her, correct?
I sure did, yeah.
Okay, sorry, Laura.
I'm sorry on the miscommunication.
No,
But
that's why I was like, I kind of can still read lips, so that's what
She has problems with her hearing.
That's what I read on your lips
okay.
was what you said, but I didn't. I should have had my ears on too.
oh, I'll try to speak more clearly. With a difficult day, do you take any of your dad's teachings or your uncle Jim's teachings and
I
try
do,
and-
but not sometimes not on the spot. Like when I get home, then I'll do the teaching. But sometimes, like if my Uncle Barry was here, he would say, "What would your dad's house say right now?" And then I would take 2 steps back, and then whatever the situation is, and then I'll say it. He goes, "There you go." And so I have clients that do help me down the line to remind me, because some of them know my dad, and my dad was a very spiritual man. He would help everybody and everyone. If you needed help or a smudge or a talk, he'll listen to you and he'll guide you, but he will also dig deep down, and he would say stuff and then forget you talking and that, because he would do that a lot with me, and I would get so frustrated, so angry, but yeah, so that's what I would do. I need to tell him a message.
No, you're not.
Oh,
No.
We'll tell them after.
Should she be coming with
No,
us?
that's okay. That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay.
we are quite over our time, but
Okay.
Thank you 3 so much for taking the time out of your day. Extremely busy days.
Yes.
I think there's more that we could definitely talk about.
Yeah, and if there's a time you ever want to come back, we could maybe do some filming at the health center, the KNC, and up to complex care, and then over to Scotty's.
That's honestly a full documentary. That's, I think, beyond our scope.
Okay.
That's because that's a story that needs a lot of time to be done properly.
But we're prepared to do it with whoever.
It's good to know. That's good.
That is,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is good to know.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you feel we haven't touched on in terms of the center today that you want to talk about and share with people?
I think for me, just, we're all busy doing all different kinds of work. And honestly, I'm gonna, this is kind of funny. Tammy texts me and she goes, "Debbie, interviews tomorrow." And I'm like, Jesus, did I miss something? Are we interviewing somebody at Scotty's? I mean at Street Angel. Where is the money coming for this position? So I'm starting to get all antsy, right? And then she goes, "No, we have the filmers coming." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So for me, it's been good to even just be here, because I probably haven't been in the building for 5 months.
Oh, longer than that.
Yeah, maybe long, but I'm in and out.
Yeah.
So for me to be here today and just listen to, some more success stories, just to see how beautiful the building is, and just be able to just spend some time with
Yes,
Lorraine
see?
and Tammy, like, and we all work together, we're all colleagues, has been rewarding today. And meeting you guys.
And this is the longest she ever sat.
Exactly. So you
Yes,
gotta
I'm
take it in.
ADHD, so I do not sit.
Yeah.
So if you can see, I'm starting to go like
Yeah.
this. I need to get up.
Get that. Get that very much. Well, we're honored you three have taken so much time to chat with us. It really means a lot that you're willing to share such important stories. Like it's not in every day you get to hear such important stories.
And thank you for picking us.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for watching, folks. Like I said, I think this and other organizations that we're working closely with could use a full documentary unto itself. I wish we had more time because, yeah, it needs more time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.